Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Um, it's Thursday, June 27th, 2024. I'm Lewis Mabee, psychic medium spiritual, and I want to wish the lovely Angela a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Angela. Hello, Janet. Hello, Diana. And Lisa made it. She made it. She wasn't able to make it the last time. So she's here. Yay! Good for you. I know that there's a few people that are regular viewers, but they have some graduations either with their children or their grandchildren are graduating their milestones, whatever. And here's Cleo. She's already coming in, wanting to meow and say, "Don't ignore me." There's Bonnie. Hello, Bonnie. Hello, Lisa. How are you doing? I'm going to see you next weekend. Was it? Yeah. So not this week, but next weekend. Yeah. And there's Michelle. Hello. And Caroline's coming in from Nova Scotia and loving it out there on the East Coast. And there's Terry and God, you can make it meow. Oh yeah, right. You can hear her, right? She's like right here, and she's like, I'm not moving anywhere. And if I don't even touch her, then she's already meowing. She's been very needy this week, and I don't know why, but like above and beyond needy. And she's more of an independent cat. Like she'll come and she'll like, okay, pet me for 2 seconds, and then okay, that's good enough. She goes, but she is just wanting more and more love and attention. So I'm here to give it to her. So today is National Pineapple Day. Who likes pineapple? Better question, who puts pineapple on their pizza? I know there's at least one Italian in here, Janet. But who puts pineapple on their pizza? Let me see who's drop a comment if you put pineapple on your pizza because it's National Pineapple Day. There's my Aunt Donna. Hello, good to see you, Donna. Michelle says she does. Yeah. She does. Yay. Good for you, Michelle. Me too. Diana's like pina colada, like Hawaiian pizza. Yes. Lisa's like, nope, not gonna do it, not gonna have it, no way. Lisa's like, yep, she's all in for pineapple pizza. Bonnie had it tonight even. Did you even know that today was National Pineapple Day, or you just wanted to have pizza tonight, Bonnie? So, and then pineapple pizza is not out of my house or any other Italians I know, Janet. I knew that you're probably calling some you're probably calling some relatives going, get that crazy Canadian. And then Caroline says, absolutely not. Okay, that's definite. I like that, Caroline. Committed. Hello, Linda. How are you doing all the way from your high rise in Toronto? And nope, Bonnie says nope, she didn't plan it at all. Just happened to fall into place that way. That's awesome. Anyway, what's been happening this week? My gosh, there's like so. Yes, on the I don't know what day it was. Tuesday, maybe one day. I was like, okay, it's Wednesday. Need to get in front of the camera. Have like another live, and then I scheduled it, and then I forgot that I was doing a training event with Epicure, and I was doing part of the training, so I had to reschedule it for tonight. So sorry about that. I am trying to do Wednesdays. I think I don't know if you like Wednesdays or Thursdays better, but actually that would be a good question. Do you like Wednesdays or Thursdays better, or does it matter? I am doing well, Linda. Thank you very much. There's Tammy. Hello, Tammy. And she also wishes Angela happy birthday from down under. Tammy's not, Angela's. So I don't know what's with me and websites, but I know it's not just me this time. So I was doing my thing, and I noticed Friday that a few new bookings came in for readings. And what happens is whenever someone books, I get an email saying someone booked, so that me or my assistant, more so my assistant, will go in and approve it. And but I see all the emails regardless, and I'm like going, well, that's all weird because I was doing some other things with the website, so I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then it always shoots me a email for my next day schedule. And I noticed it wasn't doing that on Mondays. And then I noticed that there was a few more people that are also booked. So um, I call up Nikos, my web guy, and I'm glad it's not just me, Linda. Um, I called up Nikos, and he's like, "Okay, I'll look into it." And I was like looking to see if anything's changed. Nothing. And I opened up a ticket to the company that provides the service for me, and they didn't get back to me. But then Nico got back, and he's like, they changed the IP address. I'm like, why would they do that and not tell their thousands of customers? Because it's a well-known program, and they just decided to change their IP addresses, and therefore the email connections just stopped working. And I'm like, that's what kind of customer service is that? Hello, Shayna. Thanks for joining us. And so he fixed it, and he updated the IP addresses. And later, even later, like, and this was happening, like, I think around maybe even 7:45 in the morning that I opened up this ticket. So about 10 o'clock that evening, so Monday evening, they I got a response back from tech support. God knows where tech support is in the world. But anyway, it's like, please update to these to either of these IP addresses. And well, too late to the party. I already did it. But there was no sorry. There was no. So I wrote back to them. I said, like, this impacts all of your customers that uses your program. Why would you not give us an email saying that you're updating IP addresses? And I said, just do better. And I got a response back going, did it work? So I'm like, okay, that was deaf ears. And hello, Paula, how are you? So, and has anyone else noticed like pretty terrible customer service in general? Like, I remember growing up, we were taught to be courteous. We were taught to be, like, excuse me, oh, I'm sorry, oh, like, that sort of thing. And I know that, I'm Canadian, and a lot of people around the world think that us Canadians say sorry a lot, and we probably likely do. But we were like, I just remember like being like courteous and having that beautiful energy exchange of like, oh, I'm sorry you had a bad experience, let me help you out, or whatever. Nowadays it's like, okay, so now what? Hello, Karen, how are you? Becky says, yes, it's been so bad lately. And it's true. Like, I you walk into stores and you like, the other day I was walking into a store, and I wasn't familiar with the layout or anything. So I came up to someone and that was worked there, had an ID badge. And I'm like, can you point me in the direct, I was looking for kitchenware. And they're like, oh, it's over there. And just pointed to the big, vast openness of the store. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And when I was in my former capacity as I was a manager with a big electronic outlet, I was a territory manager. I drilled it into my customer service people's heads that if someone is looking for a specific item or department, walk them to it. Make sure that you pass them on to someone that's in that department so that they aren't forgotten or left out and leave without purchasing or getting what they want. That's just, again, a common sense thing for me. But I made sure that that was the expectation set to everyone. But no one gets trained on customer service anymore. I think it's more along the lines of, you're a body and you can talk. So, okay, you're hired. And there's no training, even on the stores that I noticed that pride themselves on their customer service. It doesn't have customer service anymore. And yeah, like, just be polite at least, but that's not even like, I think that's just too, it's almost like we're asking too much of someone to be there doing their job. And I guess maybe doing their job is not customer service anymore. It's just being a body just because. So I don't know. And, I totally think you're right, Kiki. Like, no one seems to care or even try to do customer service anymore. And I absolutely, Tammy, the energy has changed. And I hope it gets better, because I really feel like this is something that we can start doing, even if we're not in a customer service oriented position, but just going back to like strolling through the days, like where we were like walking by someone and saying hi, and even though you didn't know them. And I think just starting like that I think is just a wonderful shift, an easy shift for everyone to start being able to relate to people and not have to worry about having a lowdown of their story. So Caroline is a teacher and she teaches middle school, and many of them don't have courteous behavior or being polite. And it's so true. Like, I'm sure when people go out shopping and they have children with their parents or their adults, that the children just seem to be like all over the place. And there's no like courtesy of, you're in an environment that other people are sharing with you, and they don't need to be privy to the chaos in your world, kind of thing, if that makes sense at all. Watch Samsung. I had to complain twice. They never admitted they are doing this. The cable company doesn't want you to watch non-cable off the internet. That's true. Yeah, it's very tied to the service that they want and how they can, because they own a network or they are part, whatever, like, so it's just weird. And Janet's like, I was always raised to be courteous too and treat people with kindness and respect, as I'm sure you were all raised the way too. Absolutely. Like, I remember back in the day, I knew better, so I never really did this. But I guess it's just a different generation, isn't it? But I remember seeing a few times when I was younger with my mom shopping, whatever, and all of a sudden you would hear, bah, 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 and then an angry mother, usually a mother, has her hand in her child's hand, and they're marching out to the car, like, okay, you're not going to cause a scene here. We're out of here. But now it's like, okay, go ahead. And they're going to argue, and they're actually going to argue. Like, you don't argue with your parents. Just me. Make eye contact. That's a great way. Just make eye contact, like, smile. Like, I was pulling into the parking lot today, and three of us kind of parked kind of like all at the same time. So we're all in our cars. And I got out. I started to walk towards the store, and thought, oh shit, I forgot to get my bags. So I turned around, and the woman parked on the other side of me. She was coming towards me, but we were like in line. So we had eye contact, and I nodded and smiled, and she nodded and smiled, and she knew exactly what I was doing, get my bags. And she like went like that because she had her bags in her hand, and it was great, like, wasn't awkward or nothing. So there's Val. Hello, Val. Good to see you. Janet's, I'm so tired of the selfishness and sense of entitlement. Absolutely. Everyone is entitled. It's just like opinions. They all want to have everyone know their opinion. And quite frankly, I don't care. I'd rather just stay in my peace. If I'm doing something wrong, pull me aside, tell me I'm doing something wrong, or say, hey, this is coming off this way. Is this your intention? Whatever. And have a conversation, have a resolution. But entitlement doesn't have resolutions. They just say, here's my opinion, suck it. And then they ghost, they put up a wall, they walk away. There's no there's no talk, there's no communication. So Diana, I just noticed that same mobile company when I watch on my cell via different carrier, they would block access, and I had to stream via their cell internet. It all worked out. Just you have to stand your ground. Absolutely. I mean, my cell network is not, for me, it's not meant for like that. I mean, thank God you had it, but still, it's like, why are you paying for this service when they're not providing this service? Like, it's a service. Just give me the service and we'll be fine with it. Terry, I'm waiting for a pendulum to swing back the other way again. Okay. No rules, lacks morality, not good. I agree with you, Diana. Yeah, like totally true, Lisa. Like everyone's looking at their phones and it's like, look up, like, and I don't want to say, because like cell phones are here to stay. Like we can't turn back time. We can't go back to simpler times. We're just not going to do that. But at the same time, we need to learn how our devices can be of benefit and use, but also when they should be put down or upside down and put on silent and be able to be present, especially when you're in a crowd of people. Also, with kids have been raised, they're waiting on too many things, including growing up. Oh, I know. Like I know people, young adults, like in their 20s, and they're going through school, or they just finished school, and they have no clue what they still want to do. They're just going through school because they were told to go to school, so they're just going through the motions, but they have nothing. There's no, because it's not like we have too many options, and everyone wants to be TikToker famous or an influencer on some level. And okay, that's a job. I get it. And a valid job too. But not everyone's going to be succeeding in that. And we have to, in my opinion, prepare our young people to face the hard realities of, you might have to push a broom and you might be very educated for doing that. But this is what it's coming down to. Unless you can be an entrepreneur and create your own vibe and your own jam, we're going to have to be prepared to take these jobs that aren't going to give us that $1 million paycheck, because everyone's looking for that paycheck. And I get it. I mean, the cost of living, crazy, silly, insane. Becky said, I did that with my boys. If you can't behave, be kind and listen. We're leaving. Absolutely. Because I know who your mama is. I know who your grandma is, and because they're related. And so I know how you had been raised. Respect your elders, plain and simple. Just respect your elders. Absolutely. I like today. I was in the store, and there was this elderly woman, and she was reaching top shelf. I'm not much taller than her, just FYI. And she was like, like the back of the shelf, and you short people can't reach it. So I just a little bit tiny, like just a little bit taller than her. So I was like, would you like some help grabbing that? And because that's just who I am. And she's like she kind of like got a stunned look on her face, I think, for a quick second, going, why are you talking to me? And why are you being polite? Or why, but then she's like, yes, thank you. Like, so I was able to grab it and pull it forward and hand it off to her. And she's like, thank you very much. And that's just what I do. That's what I think everyone should do. You're not gonna bust your back out, So even just holding the door open when someone has problems. Yes, absolutely. My mom's in a wheelchair, and the amount of times that establishments has the wheelchair accessible doors, the automatic doors, but they don't work. They don't turn them on because it's like it's cost energy. Well, yeah, but the people that need it, like my mom, I'm trying to roll her in, she's trying to hold a door or whatever. Like it sometimes it's like an acrobatic circus just to get her inside the establishment. And there's one place that I like to take her to eat when we go out, just for catch-ups. And every single time I'm saying, your doors don't work. Like, you recognize us. We come here often enough. Why doesn't the owner fix this? Oh no. Okay, great, thanks. So Kiki says that the energy is off. It appears that some are merely existing without purpose. I so agree with you, Kiki. I think there's so much more that needs to be done with shifting our consciousness and probing into self-care so that we can block out the noise, the extra, so that we can figure out simple ways of being happy and adding happiness to our life. And when we make connections, even if it's just an eye contact with a stranger, that actually is energy exchanged in a beautiful, positive way. And it really makes a tremendous impact on someone's day. You never know how you're going to touch someone that you don't know just by simply smiling at them. There is no understanding or willingness to understand or care for others. It feels like a very selfish and entitled world right now, unfortunately. You're so right, and I think that's very unfortunate. Diane is also talking about humans balanced, too much isolation with devices, a trap spiritually. Yeah, like, and there's once in a while, and I do try to monitor this. I go down that rabbit hole. In fact, I went on TikTok for the first time in probably like a month, and I'm like, oh my god, I totally forgot about TikTok, because I try not to, like, if I know that there's something that I'm waiting for, like in a message or something like that, and I'm with someone, I'll tell them right up front and say, I'm just waiting for a message because I need to get this answer. And once it's done, I'm good to go. And then when the message comes in, then it's like, okay, got it, perfect. And then I put the phone down because I want to be present with the person that I'm sitting across from. And it's really bad, like, and my family's guilty of it too, where, because I have 3 beautiful nieces, all at different ages, but they're being like, they're in that zone where all their friends are the exact same thing, and so they're just like this all the time. And I'm like, I'm here. I'm not. I don't live with you. Like, give me 5 minutes, and they will. They do. Like, they understand that, but it's very easy for us to get trapped into our device. Lots of narcissism. I mean, I think there's always been narcissism. I think you agree with that, Diana. But I think that the narcissism is just at that. It's grown, and it's like there's so many levels of narcissistic tendencies that we're not really able to group them as maybe small as they were. So yeah. I saw this on one of the astronomy websites I follow. Someday, when scientists discover the center of the universe, a lot of people are going to be disappointed to find out it isn't them. I love it. You are not the center of the universe. I love it. I think that's great. It all starts with love and kindness, and it's starting with love and kindness to yourself. First of all, first and foremost, it's all about love and kindness to yourself, because when we are in a healthy mindset, that doesn't mean that our day is full of rainbows and lollipops and unicorns, but it's about when we are tested or tried or whatever, going back into the love and kindness of ourselves. That's going to radiate off of us, and it's going to catch on to someone else. So, and that's right. You only can do the best to try to do self-love and all that sort of thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that, but then, so I always do every year. I do this. I take the 2 days off before the long weekend because it's Canada Day, July 1st, as Canadians know, and then right after that, it's July 4th, the American birthday. And so I always take the Thursday and the Friday off before the long weekend because everyone's scattered, and I just don't want to hang around for one appointment. I like my days full. I like them compact, and but this is also a way for me to just go and just kind of like do a little bit of breathing as well. So today was a big running around day for me, and I I was doing a bunch of errands, and then I decided, and I don't do this very often at all, but I did decide to go to a fast food place. I'll name it because this is a great experience. A&W in Woodstock, and I was like going, oh my god, I'm really hungry all of a sudden, and it was like 1:30 and I haven't ate yet because I usually eat breakfast. I have a coffee, and because I kind of like do that like 14-16 hour fast kind of thing. So anyway, I got in as soon as I opened the door, there was someone behind the counter and they said, "Good afternoon." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you are talking to me." And I went, "Good afternoon." And he's like, "What, how can I help you today? What do you need?" I said, "I'm still looking because I'm not really familiar with what they have. It's been a very long time since I've gone to A&W." So he says, "No worries, take your time. Just tell me when you're ready." I'm like, I love this guy's energy. And so I decided what to get. I got an Uncle Burger because I love bacon and I love cheese, and that's what the Uncle Burger is. So I got an Uncle Burger. And he's like, "Okay," and I ordered a drink. And he's like, here, would you like a frosted mug or would you like a paper cup?" I said, "Oh, frosted mug, absolutely." So he gave me the frosted mug. He goes, "Here's the mug. Go fill it up with your Papa Choice, and then go sit down, and I'll bring out the burger to you." I'm like, really? Fast food does this? That is awesome. And he was just sincere. He was kind. Like you could tell that he enjoyed his job because he really it was a good customer experience. And it just floored me because, well, as we talked about before, like you walk in someplace and you're completely ignored for the most part, or if you are acknowledged, it's a like, excuse me, you're bothering me while I'm working. Like, okay, sure, whatever. But this place, I like, wow, like completely changed my mind. Completely changed my mind that there is a little bit of faith still with other people. And anyway, so good experience as well today. Don't want to say everything's just negative because it's not. But for the most part, it's like the reason why I'm bringing this all up about the customer service is more so about the importance of self-care and maintaining a physical and emotional and a mental well-being at all times. And if we all start practicing that, it's just going to spread. It's just going to like grow. And by prioritizing your self-care, you're going to ensure that you have the energy and the resources needed to serve others effectively as well. So if your tank is full, then you're going to be able to serve others as well. And that's just a simple act of kindness. It doesn't mean that you need to be their therapist or whatever the case may be. It's just a simple act of kindness. And I think that's truly brilliant. There's like to be physically well, obviously the physical is all about motion and movement. And so that there's exercise, balance with your nutrition needs, adequate sleep. I noticed that. So after I'm getting old. So after I did all my running, it was about 5-ish, 5:30, 5:15-ish. I got home and I'm like, whew, I am tired. And I sat down in the chair. I put all my stuff away. I sat down in the chair and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? Because I usually get ready about 6:30 for the podcast. So I have an hour-ish. So I'm just going to sit down and I'm just going to pause. I'm just going to not even digest. I'm just going to pause. I'm going to pause. So I put myself on pause and I thought, okay, this pause is becoming really, really sleepy. I better set an alarm. So I told my machine to set an alarm for 6:15 just in case. And all of a sudden I heard the alarm going off. I'm like, and I jump. I'm like going, I did it. I never nap. Ever since I was a child, I hated napping. I have FOMO when it comes to napping. If I'm sleeping during the day, then I'm missing out on something, even though there's absolutely nothing going on. I'm not a napper. So I don't know if I'm getting just older or whatever, but man, oh man, did it feel good though. At first I was like going because the alarm startled me, but I'm like, I guess I really needed that. And I'm glad that I paid attention to what my physical body needed. So just simple things like that will help top you up. The emotional health is also very important. That can also be into a spiritual realm as well. You know, do activities that bring you joy, relaxation, stress relief, such as hobbies, meditation, spending time with loved ones, reading, watching mindless TV sometimes, you know, all that kind of good stuff. Lisa's saying the law of attraction. You're right. The law of attraction, Lisa. And then obviously your mental health. And mental health has a massive scope these days, and we all have very different needs and means for our mental health. But engaging in activities that stimulate your mind, and such as reading and learning new skills and seeking therapy when needed and appropriate. Please do not be afraid of therapy. I always make this joke, and it is meant as a joke, and it might be somewhat sensitive, and it does not mean to be, but like I always say to people in a reading, that if it's coming up that them or someone close to them that needs reading, I said, hey, if you are in Los Angeles and if you didn't have 3 people in your therapy circle, you're crazy. Like, that's just what they do down there. There's a lot of people that have different therapists for different mental health needs, but there's still a stigmatism, especially in the north, or at least we're around southwestern Ontario where I live, where, and I'm not saying that everyone's against it. I'm just saying that it's like, oh, he won't go for that, or she won't go for that, you know? And it's like, try it, because to be able to unpack what you're carrying, the burden to unpack it, and not, and being in a safe place of non-judgment because this person is a professional, it's an amazing healing technique. And it's not overnight, but when you find the right therapist, boy oh boy, do you bloom and blossom and shine. Fortunately for me, I really don't have mental health issues, but I do work with someone more in a coaching, because I want to make sure that I'm tapping into myself and making sure that my needs are met. So it's not a regular thing for me, but maybe once or twice a year, I will call up on my friend who does coaching, and we go through where I'm at and what I'm doing and what are my goals, and are they aligned with the energy that I'm putting into whatever it is. And so it's really awesome to be able to connect with someone, even just with a trusted friend, but I, and that's very good. Like trusted friend talk therapy, it all works. It sure does. But actually, Diana, you're leading into my next thing, because this has been a huge theme in my readings, probably for over a year now. And that is, people need to understand and accept boundaries. People, you might need to start drawing boundaries, and other people need to be aware of your boundaries, because these are the invisible lines that define an acceptable behavior and interaction. They're crucial for maintaining healthy relationships and ensuring mutual respect. And we all need to have them. And I think that, with going back to what Janet was saying about the center of the universe, we are not drawing those boundaries, and sometimes without knowing it, we're allowing toxic people or people that are influencing how we want to be into our worlds without saying, wait a second, that does not work. Um, um, and so Bonnie's saying, after our talk last week, I am now going to book myself a therapist, plus many others things need to work on. Absolutely, Bonnie. Like, thank you so much for sharing that and being open and honest to share that information, because and I know what we talked about, and it's you are going to finally start to heal. I know it. I know it psychically. I know it as a friend. I know it. You're going to begin to heal when you connect with that right therapist. And it's going to be something about exactly like getting your life back. Like, don't even worry about normal right now, but just taking back bits of your life and feeling like you're finally back into control of things that were triggers or became triggers for you. So, and Caroline, one of her many daughters, is in Kitchener and has become a therapist, and is pendant to new clients for counseling. So if you want to, if you're looking for someone in the Kitchener-Waterloo area for therapy, you contact Caroline or contact me, and I can contact Caroline because I know Caroline's contact. So true, Bunny. You need this for a long, long time, much longer than the situations that you and I talked about. But you know, at some point, it finally gets to a point where it's like, enough is enough. So, and Diana's talking about energy vampires. Oh, absolutely. Deficit people, 100%. Meaning those that leave you feeling like you're less instead of more, 100%. And that falls into that narcissism that you're talking about earlier, Diana. And Janet's also saying something. Sometimes you need someone to help guide you through issues you may not be knowing you're going through. Exactly. And that's how I do my healing. Like, people will say to me, oh, my toe hurts. I'm like, okay. So when I start tapping into the energy around the healing aspect, I'm going, yeah, I can see that your toe hurts, but the reason why your toe hurts is because there's something in your lung that needs to be looked at and dealt with. And so when I start to focus on the energy of repairing the energy around the lung so that it's back in balance, all of a sudden their toe doesn't hurt anymore. So because when I do healing, I always look for roots. I always look to see where it's going, where the root goes towards, and be able to focus on that, so that the side effect or what is being inflamed or what's a cause or a purpose is rectified. But yet with a root, it also has many offshoots with roots. And so therefore with the healing sessions, I can get into these roots and either tug them out or repair them or redirect them, whichever way spirit wants me to do. So how do we understand boundaries? I think first of all, you need to understand your limits. I know for me, I tend to, I'm going to use this word passive. I tend to let people vent. And I'm not talking about clients. That's a whole different story. But I do tend to let people go on, and they're not checking in with me to see if I'm still wanting or willing to listen or continue with them, or what they're talking about. So you need to know your limits and reflect on what makes you uncomfortable, or stressed, or and recognize your emotional and your physical and mental limits. And it's okay to say no, or just say, you know what? And one of my things I say now is, that's not my pay grade. People get it. Like, that's just not on my pay grade. And it's a way, if you can't say no, it's a way of saying no. without saying no, because no might be the wrong word that the other person is going to take wrong. So I just simply say that's not in my pay grade. And I think it's time to have a chat with someone else that is more aligned with having a professional service for this specific topic of yours. And I'm very fortunate. My friends, I don't have a large friend base group, which I'm very thankful for. But it's and so my friends don't really do that to me. It's those acquaintances that, and again, non-clients, because a client is a completely different story. But those people that like know what I do, and they won't book a reading with me, but yeah, they'll ask me lots of questions, So and before, I never used to give them a limit. I would just be like, okay, fine. And I give in and give them what they wanted. I get a thanks, but the thanks was just courteous thanks. It wasn't a genuine thanks. So now what I say is, well, maybe it's time to book a reading with me. And then I just stare them down, kind of thing, because it's like, this is my limit. And my focus on you right now is you making sure that you understand that is my limit. You're not going to take advantage of me, because I have people booking months in advance and paying me for the same questions that you want to ask me for free. And we don't have an actual connection. We are just acquaintances. So that's even why most times when I meet someone new, they ask, oh, what do you do? And I hate that. I'd rather have you ask me, how do you live? And I don't mean that in a flippant way. It's more like, tell me about yourself. How do you live? But North Americans are like, hi, nice to meet you. What do you do? What do you do for a living? And they're already sizing you up. But I'd rather say, tell me something fun, or tell me, where'd you travel last? Like, that's, to me, beautiful. That's a very European thing, I think, as well. And then with doing your boundaries, it's also very important to have clear communication. Express your boundaries to others with clear and concise statements, such as I. Using I statements to explain your needs without placing blame. Like, I'm sorry, this is not my pay grade. And they'll get it. And so it's just always being consistent. You always have to be consistent with your setting your boundaries, because when you aren't consistent, then people are going to find that weakness, and they're going to be able to use that weakness to their advantage. And you don't really need to do that. So, and then, because you're respecting your boundaries, respect other people's boundaries. The exact same way of how you would like to be, like that old saying, treat others how you want to be treated. So if you're understanding your own boundaries, make sure that you understand someone else's boundaries. Totally fine. It's okay to have boundaries, because that's one great way of, and like I said, like, this has been a very big theme in my readings. This is something that brings forward healthy communication and healthy connections. So, you know what, Christina? If that's the case, she feels like constantly getting penalized or backlash for setting my boundaries. It's exhausting. Again, go back to the I. And if they don't get I, then perhaps it's time to reevaluate why you keep letting them come to you, or why do you have that kind of connection. And I get it, sometimes it might be family or whatever the case may be, but that old saying is like, we may not be able to pick our family, but we can pick how much time we spend with them. So if you are constantly needing to defend your boundaries, they're not honoring the fact that you're trying to set boundaries. So that's a clue for you to say, is this actually a real connection? Or are they just expecting me to bend and do it their way, whatever that is, and I'm supposed to just follow their lead and suck it up? Well, you're not supposed to suck it up. You're supposed to honor yourself and honor your boundary. I noticed that I keep talking to me as opposed to talking to the camera. So if I'm looking this way, it's because I'm looking at me. So I have someone to talk to, but the camera's right there. So I'm trying to I'm trying to do this. But with Christina, honestly, if they are not accepting your boundary, then you need to draw the bit line deeper. Really, and if they don't accept it, maybe it's time to reevaluate the connection. And not necessarily match it as in tit for tat, but if they're only coming to you in crisis, then stop picking up the phone, stop responding to their text, stop being available, stop answering the door. Like but first and foremost, learn to say no. I'm sorry, that's not in my pay grade. Try that. Yes, I know. Right. Okay. So anyway, that was my tangent. And just know when to walk away. Like recognize the toxicity in in people, in connections or lack of connections. Evaluate the impact. Like consider how staying in situations affect your well-being and whether it aligns with your values and goals. Make a plan, create a strategy for exiting the situation. This could be involved setting a timeline, seeking support, identifying alternatives. Like that happens quite a lot when marriages come to an end and neither one knows how to exit. And so they stay and it becomes more toxic. So it's stuff like that. And always stay firm. Like always make sure that you are very much into this is for my highest good. It doesn't have to be for someone else's highest good. It has to be for your highest good. You have to be true to yourself. And when you're true to yourself, you're going to have a much happier and joyful life and existence. Caroline says, during readings with you, I benefited from your truth and honest about certain people using me. That really helped with boundaries. Absolutely. And, I'm really good at identifying people's energy, even if they're not sitting across from me. I always say to people that, when they ask, like, how do I do what I do? I always say I pick up on the energy around people. I can read their energy. And I can talk about your 17th cousin 14 times removed. As long as there's an energy around it, I can pick that up. And so even when people say, that doesn't really sound like that person, but then later they email me going, now I understand what you're saying, because they were able to look at it through a different lens that I was able to present to them, and they're like, no, I get it. Mama Carla is sending some love to her daughter. Yeah, I love that. You didn't say hi to me, Carla. And she's also sending some love to Caroline. Oh, that's so awesome. Carla has good heart. She's good. Carola's good people. And a lot of you are good people. Because if you wouldn't be tuning in tonight, right? So yeah, let's open this up to questions. Questions about anything, really. Doesn't need to be a psychic question. It could just be a general question like, do I like pineapple on my pizza? I will eat it, but it's not a necessity. But yeah, let's open this up. And if you do want to book a reading with me, I always forget to do this. You can go to my website, lewismabee.com. I am updating the website, so if it looks a little bit like a little bit of a hot mess because things aren't necessarily where they need to be, it's because I'm updating it, but I'm using a brand new template that's foreign to me. And so I want to learn this to be able to self-service whenever something needs to be fixed. So go to my website, lewismabee.com, and in the menu bar at the top, click on bookings. And if you are more local to me, I because someone emailed me and she says, I didn't realize you did all this. And so if you're more local to me, I also do house clearing where I remove negative energies and unwanted energies, and I can balance out the home's energy so that the home and the occupants are in harmony, peace, and balance. I also do healings, but I also do remote healings. I have clients actually all over the world that I have regular healing sessions with, and I'm able to connect with them. Again, energy doesn't have any boundaries, so I can tap in. And for remote healings, I always give a synopsis of what the healing session was after I'm done. And if you want to follow me, which I hope you do, on Instagram, TikTok, and X, it's Lewis Mabee. And then on Facebook, look for Lewis Mabee Spiritual. So I would appreciate all of that. Who's going to win the American election? I honestly get the sense that there's going to be a dark horse that comes into play, and I don't know. I mean, I know Biden and Trump, but I don't know. I don't follow the news. I very seldom turn it on. But for some reason, there's this dark horse energy that's coming from behind and is going to be sweeping in. It could be a replacement for someone that's a little bit more moderate. I keep feeling like there's a little bit of moderation, or a little bit of a moderate view of politics coming forward. So, but it's not Trump. That's for sure. That is for sure. Paula's looking for a new job opportunity, wondering what advice I have. Please and thank you. Well, thank you, Paula. I want you to have patience with this, because to me it feels like something needs to line up first. It's not available yet. And so if you can kind of coast for a bit, that'd be amazing. I think like November-ish, there's energy around movement with, geez, see, she's so needy. Can you hear her? Not you, Paula, my cat, Cleo. So I think around November time, your career fields start getting hot. And I feel like that's when you're going to be able to follow the bouncing ball, because I do feel like it will be a lead, and you lead it, and you follow that lead, and therefore that's where it lands. So, yeah. So, good luck, and let us know how it goes. But for now, it's kind of like keep putting your feelers out, keep licking things to see if you like it, because to me, Paula, this means there's a big shift. It's not just a next level, or you're going to the same job but a different company. To me, it feels like it's new, and I love that newness for you. So I can do a house clear. I have done it once before. So when I did that the house clearing through Zoom, I was like, I had very strict instructions to the person, that they can't be thinking, and they're just the conduit holding their device for me to look at the picture, like the house. So because when I do a house clearing, it's not just me smudging. That like when people smudge their houses, that's fine. If they feel better about it, it does work. But I'm very specific with how I can eliminate and remove unwanted and toxic energy. And it's very exact. So I can't have others like be gone, because that's not part of the act. So, but I can do that. Yes. Oh, Kristen, thank you for saying hi, and I'm sending you love right back. Thank you for popping on and even being brave enough to say hi, because I know Kristen's shy. Kristen's beautiful, heart source, like so many of you guys are so heart source. I love it. Like, what a community that we have. Can I book with you when I see you in a week or so, or is it better to book online? Sure, we'll figure it out, Bunny. Don't worry about it. Bonnie's coming to see me because I'm having an open house for Epicure, because we dropped a bunch of new products, or four, or six actually. And so I'm having people come. So if you're in the area, and Kristen's coming, and Lisa's coming, Lisa Christman's coming, and if you want to come and sample some really delicious food, let me know. Joanna, I experienced a really unique experience when my oldest was a baby. I saw a white butterfly while I was feeding her during the evening, and it disappeared into thin air. Was I just exhausted? No, yes, you were exhausted, Joanna, or Joanne, because your baby. But the butterfly was definitely a connection of like a like it's almost like a loved one that's passed away, like wanted to like have a physical, like kind of like, even though it was not a physical, but like a physical apparition, so that you would know that this baby is well protected, even though the baby didn't need protecting. But it's like, we got you, we see you. So Tammy, well, thanks for asking that, Tammy. And yes, I do, because guess where I'm going at the end of July? I am going to Los Angeles. I am spending time with so many of my good friends, but I'm spending time with my sister from another Mista, Janet, who is on. And yeah, I'm going to be there for a bit. So, and I'll be able to work remotely. So, which is really cool. So, Paula says, thank you, and you're very welcome. There's some good stuff here too. Yeah, Diana, I love getting rid of I love getting rid of good stuff. And there's another heart source person saying hello. Hello, Dawn. How are you? How are you? How are you? Someone I adore is having a baby. What your guess is, boy or girl? Oh, I know who you're talking about. um it's interesting because I think it's a boy, but yet I feel like there's like feminine energy around this. So this male could be very in tuned. Let me put it that way. So Joanne says, I love that, Lewis. You're welcome, Joanne. Lisa, do you have excuse me, do I have any messages from my sister who passed in February? Can you give me her first name, Lisa? Yes, and I know that the room that I sleep in, we always call it my room, and people have to ask permission if they want to sleep over. They have to ask permission if it's okay if they sleep in my room, even though I know it's not really my room, but it's my room, and it's lovely and it's beautiful, and the energy that Janet is providing in the house is such amazing, and we have such a good time, even in silence. We don't even have to be talking, and yet we're connected, and I just love those kinds of feelings. So Linda, thank you, Lisa. She's saying something about something's not finished, and she wants you to be able to finish it. But I don't think it's deep. Like, I don't think it's about writing a book for her or anything else like that. But it does feel to me like that she left us. I don't know if it was unexpected or if it may be a little bit of a sudden kind of energy. But she wants to make sure that things get tied up. That's the best way to describe it. Make sure things get tied up, and it's almost like she's motioning for you to be the task mistress with this and make sure that things get tied up. So, yeah. Diana says, a few nights ago I woke up coughing, then my guardian sent me a yes, no other message. I turned to the cell, charging usually dark, and it flashed on the home screen showing the time 3:22. Interesting, because your yes is an answer to a question that has been asked yet. But when the question gets brought forward, you're going to be like deja vu and like, oh my God, I've been through this, or I understand this, and I get where the yes is coming from, and I know what the answer is. So it hasn't been asked yet. And that's the 322 piece. It's like progression, but not readiness. So you're welcome, Caroline. Becky, do you have any messages from my brother-in-law, Ajumu? He's being very apologetic. He's like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And he feels relieved. It's like taking the pressure cooker off and allowing everything to expand and release, and so like there's this huge sense of peace around him now, which I don't feel like he was experiencing before he left us. And I think a lot of that was very deeply rooted internally. But has this big, huge smile on his face, and he's happy. And he's like, look at me, I'm dancing. Like, he's carefree. And I feel like directions were like maybe misconstrued, or I don't know if lost is the right word, but it just feels like he was just like that. And so, but he's so happy. Janet, it is my room. You're darn right it is. Lisa says thanks. Diana says thanks. What about my sister? Any messages? I miss her so much. Anything she wants to say to me, Cheryl? Yep, I remember Cheryl. For sure I do. So she is very happy that you are starting to connect the dots and bring your life forward. And she's also very much, she says, initially I was shocked, but then she's like, as she grew more familiar with her afterlife, it's like, I get why I had to go, because her passing was more sudden. And she says, you will also discover that while you're healing, as to why she had to leave at a younger age and not, in their 80s, whatever, or her 80s. And I'm not supposed to tell you. She says, because this is very much your path of self-discovery. But she says, when you do, you're not going to be mad anymore. It will make more sense, but it's like, but at the same time, it's like, well, that doesn't make sense, but it's like, I get it, but why? You'll understand, I get it, and the why won't be so profound. So, yeah. Val, I will be sending you some right now, Val, as I'm talking. Becky saying thank you. Nice to hear Cleo in the background. Yeah, straight here. Like, yeah. Yeah, I think that is it for now. We are like 8:04 my time, and I really enjoyed being able to spend time with you and enjoy you and appreciate you, and sending you all my love in healthy boundary ways, and being able to have heart source with the connection through this is so appreciative. It really does mean the world to me when I see people online and they're asking questions and they're valuing not just my ability, but they're wanting to make a connection with me. And when I say, like, ask a question, by all means, like, that's why that's that's my offering. But I do really appreciate everyone respecting my lives, and coming on time and time again, and supporting me in so many ways. Again, if you want to book a reading, you can go to lewismabee.com. Make sure you spell it right. Although when you Google me, there's a lot, so you'll get there. Follow me, please, on Facebook. I'm getting really good at posting on Facebook daily. In fact, almost twice a day now. So follow me for inspiration on Facebook, Lewis Mabee Spiritual, and Instagram, TikTok, and X, Lewis Mabee. And that is my time for now. Thank you again. I really appreciate everyone tuning in, and have a good night. Have a good long weekend for all the Canadians watching us. I hope you have some really awesome plans, and I can't wait till the next time to connect with you. Bye for now.